Hey guys, Lindsay Phipps from Lindsay Phipps Fitness here. If you don't know who I am and you just sort of stumbled upon this video on social media or on YouTube. So today I want to talk about something really personal. I've been thinking about making a video about this for a few weeks now, but I've been really nervous to share about it. This. I've been nervous about judgment, and I've been nervous about people who like to just give their 2 cents, and people who don't really understand. And today I had this issue with vitamin B12 because of the ingredients in this, and it made me realize I really just need to talk about this. I need to share this with you guys, and my whole intention in doing so is to help people, to share my story, share my journey, share my struggles, show you where I've been, where I'm at now, where I'm going, to share that you can overcome certain things too, just like I have. Hell, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, seriously. There were times in my life where I thought my life would never change and never get better and always be miserable, and that's not the case anymore. So I'm not really sure where this video is going to go. I have notes because I'm really nervous, and I want to make sure that I cover the important points that I want to talk about today. And I'm expecting this video probably to be a little long. So, all right. So what I want to talk about today is binge eating disorder and how I deal with that and how I've had it for a really long time. So if you've been following me on social media for about a year now, you know that I've talked about sugar addiction and food addiction, and I've talked about that a lot at the end of last year because I realized that I had a problem with food, and at the time I really just thought it was with sugar, and I wanted to share that because, and I'm sharing this with you today because my fitness community and the people who follow me know me to be really honest and authentic and sometimes a little blunt, because I want to share with you guys my journey in its most real form. I want to be completely honest with you. I want to share my struggles with you. It's really important to me not to sugarcoat shit, right? So, so last year I just realized, okay, I have a problem with sugar. I have sugar addiction, and I've had it for as long as I can remember. So I cut sugar out of my diet completely in October of last year, and I did really well with that. It's been 6 or 7 months now, and then I started to notice my binges were coming back, and I started poking around on YouTube, poking around on the internet, and realized that I really have binge eating disorder, and I've had it since I was a child. And for example, I can remember being very young and sneaking food. Now, not like mom said no, dinner is in 30 minutes and you go sneak a cookie. I'm talking sneaking like multiple servings of ice cream bars within an hour period, and going back and going back and going back and hiding the wrappers, and getting caught. I'm talking about stealing candy and doing really embarrassing things because I was hiding it. And it's a typical symptom of binge eating disorder to eat in secret, and you don't want people to know about it. It's very embarrassing. And the thing about binge eating disorder, it's not just people who are obese. It can be people of average weight because you binge maybe on the weekends, you binge 1 day a week, but it's on a consistent basis and it's in private. So, so I have lots of examples as a child when I had my binges, when I was eating in secret, when I was stealing food. And then as I got older, I was still hiding it as a teenager, but it was starting to get worse. And I started to cut myself as another, I guess, relief from pain. I don't know if it has to do with some things that happened to me as a child. I'm sure that's probably where it stems from. I'm not going to get into that because I don't feel comfortable getting into that, but I'm sure that the cutting and the binge eating disorder probably started from there, because for a person who is addicted to food, and you can go do your own research online, scientific studies show that it's like being addicted to cocaine. So you get the same response in your brain from certain trigger foods or sugar or processed foods that you get from cocaine. Those of us who are addicted to it and who have those addictive tendencies towards food, you eat one candy bar this time, next time it's two, the next time it's an entire box. You have to keep increasing it so that you get that same response, and it's like a numbing effect. It makes you feel better, it makes you not think about it, and then you go through the cycle of being depressed and guilty and all of that. And then I hit my 20s and it got really out of control. I think at my heaviest I did get up to around 200 pounds. I've always loved being active and working out, so I always managed to not let it get too far away from me. I mean, pushing 200 pounds for me is about 50, 60 pounds overweight. So I've managed to cut that down. I've lost 35 pounds so far, and I'm still working on it. But like, here's a picture of me when I was heavier, pushing 200 pounds. I don't have a whole lot of pictures from back then. I didn't like pictures being taken of me. I didn't save them anywhere online. They're all a box somewhere in my mom's house. So, but here's a picture of that. Okay, so in my 20s, it started to get worse because now I didn't live at home. I was in an abusive marriage, and that just sort of fueled the fire. And because I had my own income, I could hide it more, and I could go hit fast food joints more. And I would go to like Taco Bell and order 2 meals for 2 people, and I would eat it all myself. I would go on the way to work or something. I'd stop at King Soopers and get a box of donuts and eat half of them and some chocolate milk. And then I would hide the rest in the car, and on the way home or on a break, or if it, on the way home I would eat it, or if I really got obsessive about it and I couldn't stop thinking about it, I would take a break from work, go out to the car and eat some more because it was in private, nobody had to see it. So eventually I did get up to about 200 pounds. And this continued on through that abusive marriage. It continued on through losing Caden when he passed away, then a miscarriage. And then really for me, I think I hit rock bottom about that time. And it was time to get my shit together. And, I was taking multiple antidepressants, sleeping a lot, watching a lot of TV. I wasn't really active anymore. Spending a lot of money on food and sugar and fast food and things like that. And so I did get up to around 200 pounds, I think at my heaviest by this time. I remember my husband telling me that because we knew each other before we got married, we knew each other at work as friends, not even as friends, I guess, we were just associates. And he mentioned, one day he saw me because I sort of hit that rock bottom while I worked there. And he was like, he mentioned that him and his coworkers were like, what happened to Lindsay? Because I came back to work all of a sudden really, really, really heavy. And I had been taking a lot of time off during that time because I suffered from really bad migraines that would last for 7 days at a time, and I had to take multiple medications for that. And that all just stemmed from being in a toxic marriage and dealing with infant loss and things like that. So since then, I got out of that abusive marriage, and you guys I have my story up on YouTube and on my website about my story where I talk about losing Kate, and then I talk about getting out of that marriage and going back to school and getting a degree and starting a business and getting remarried to Jeremy and all of that. So if you want those details about that part of my story, if that's what you connect with more, I can put the link to that below this video. But anyway, so enter my life now where I gave up sugar and I started to get those binge eating behaviors back again. So I still kept out sugar from my diet, but now I'm binging on things that my body recognizes as sugar. So, and I didn't even realize it until I was talking to a group I'm in on Facebook that supports this issue. And somebody pointed out you may have given up sugar, but you've replaced it with other foods that your body processes just like it processes sugar. So I had replaced it with like refined carbs and starches and things like that my body thinks is sugar, and I was getting that same response. And so the binging started over again, and I had been binging every weekend for a while now. And it's always been that one thing that's kept me from hitting my goals. And it's not just about aesthetically achieving this specific body. For me, it's about the challenge of pushing myself. You know, I really enjoyed half marathons. I always wanted to do a triathlon, and I started to have issues with my knees, and I couldn't do that anymore. So I decided, well, I need something else to push myself that I enjoy doing, because I love lifting and I love working out. But anyway, so over time, I developed new trigger foods. And this happens with people with binge eating disorder. You cut out certain foods and you develop new trigger foods. And the thing that really sucks ass about binge eating disorder is, unlike alcoholism or drug addiction, when you get therapy or you recover from those addictions, you abstain from them and you don't have them and you're not around it for the rest of your life. And that helps you recover. It helps you not deal with it anymore. But when it comes to binge eating disorder, we need food to survive. And unfortunately, there are people with severe binge eating disorder that basic healthy foods cause them to have binges. For me, I have more of a mild form, and I have a specific list of trigger foods that I can just cut out of my diet completely, and it doesn't affect my nutrition. So the new trigger foods that I've developed and I've decided to abstain from completely, just like I cut sugar out of my diet, are soda. So I always initially cut soda out because it had sugar, but then I started to drink diet soda, and diet soda does have sugar substitutes, and I started to have the same addictive reaction to those sugar substitutes. Chips, popcorn, white flour, all of those things process in our body just like sugar does. And I can't control myself with them. And binge eating disorder is not like Thanksgiving dinner and you're with your family and you sit down and have way too much to eat, and then you go back for seconds of turkey and potatoes and a third slice of pie. That's overeating in one instance with your family. Binge eating disorder is characterized by doing it frequently over time and hiding it and feeling guilt and eating. And I'll get into the criteria. But anyway, so in addition to that, I realized peanut butter is also a trigger food. And I realized that because Jeremy suggested that I not buy peanut butter anymore a couple of months ago, and I flipped out. And when you have that sort of emotional attachment to food, that's a red flag. So I literally got pissed off and yelled at him about getting rid of peanut butter. I turned into a huge bitch about it. At the time, I felt like it was control or something. And I realize now it's an attachment to the food. And bingers can have this addictive reaction to really high fat foods like peanut butter. And so those are my 6 triggers, and I've chosen to abstain from them completely. The criteria before I talk about what exactly has helped me. So I'm just going to read. You can do all this research online. There's plenty of research online about binge eating disorder. It's just, it's another eating disorder, just like anorexia and bulimia are eating disorders. It's just another form of eating disorder. I've never been formally diagnosed, but you can go online and there are quizzes from reputable sources that you can take and see if you may have it. It doesn't diagnose it, but it will give you an idea of maybe how mild or severe your binge eating disorder is. So I'm just going to read this. And so what is binge eating disorder? People with binge eating disorder feel both emotionally and physically out of control with their eating. Consequently, remorse, emotional anguish are common. Unlike the patient with bulimia, the binger does not compensate after a binge by over-exercising, vomiting, or fasting. Binge eating disorder typically involves, so this is the criteria that a therapist would review to diagnose you officially. So repeating episodes of binge eating, eating more in a given amount of time than other people would eat during that same period of time, feeling as if you can't stop eating, eating alone because you are ashamed about how much food you eat, feeling disgusted with yourself, feeling depressed or guilty after overeating, Episodes of binge eating associated with at least 3 of the following: eating faster than you normally would eat, eating more than you would normally eat, eating until you feel very full or even sick, and eating after you are satisfied. So I meet all of that criteria except for eating fast. So I just wanted to read that to you if that's something that you need to research for yourself, to maybe think about whether or not you have binge eating disorder. And like I said, there are different, there's more mild and there's more severe cases of it. For more mild cases, I can talk about what I've done to help myself with this, and it's not, binge eating disorder is not something most people ever 100% recover from. It's something that you just have to work on, and it does get easier. If you have a severe form of binge eating disorder, you should seek out therapy and seek help there. And there's a lot of different types of therapies that help with it as well. So one of the reasons I wanted to share this today, and one of the reasons I was really nervous about sharing this, is because I hear all the time from people, just eat in moderation. It's okay to have junk food in moderation. It's okay to have this in moderation. Why don't you just have it because it's your birthday? Or why don't you just have it because it's a holiday? And then even some people take offense if you choose not to have birthday cake on their birthday, because you're at a birthday party or something. And really, those people just don't understand. And you're going to face that. You're going to have family and friends who don't understand binge eating disorder, who, because they don't experience it, because they are able to eat things in moderation. And I've dealt with that from people who just say, just do it in moderation. Eat when you feel hungry. Stop when you feel full. Just eat a little treat and stop there. Well, I'm sorry, but those people can fuck off, because they just don't get it. They don't understand the emotional attachment. They don't understand the struggle. So anyway, so those people don't understand the struggle, and you can just hope that they be supportive. And you just can't let those people get into your head. So because for me, like for some people, I know from this group that I'm in on Facebook, I know that for some people, they can still do things in moderation when they're in public, because in public they're not going to overeat, because it's something that you tend to do in secret when you binge. So maybe they can have a piece of chocolate cake at someone's birthday party, and that's it, and they're done, and they move on, and they don't think about it. However, some people like me who have binge eating disorder will obsess about it. Like, I will think about food all day long. I'll think about that fix and that craving all day long until I get it. And then I'll have it, and it's like a domino effect. I knocked over that first domino by eating or a sweet or a bag of chips or drinking a soda, even if it's diet, and that domino goes over, and for the rest of the day or even a couple of days after, I battle huge cravings, and my willpower is less because I gave into that first just eat it in moderation. And it starts the cycle over for me, and I binge for multiple days in a row. So for me, abstinence has given me huge relief. Just coming to terms with, I'm not going to have these foods ever again because they're a drug for me. For some people, that doesn't work. Abstaining completely triggers binge eating episodes. So this disorder and the recovery is very personal, and there's a lot of trial and error. Like, for example, this B12 that I started having a couple of weeks ago for energy and for some of the other benefits of B12, I didn't read the ingredients like I normally do because I didn't think I needed to. It's a supplement. It's a vitamin. I didn't think about it. And one serving of this is 1 tablet, and it's sublingual, so you put it under your tongue, and then it dissolves, and you swallow 30 seconds later. I realized today that, and that's the thing too about food addiction, is you do it mindlessly. You don't even think about it until all of a sudden you realize, holy shit, I ate fucking 12 donuts. Oh my God, how did I do that? And you feel miserable and sick and depressed, and the cycle continues. So anyway, I realized that I've been popping 3 and 4 of these things at a time, a couple of times a day. So I've been eating this like candy. So done with that. And it's because it has sucralose in it. Well, maybe that's not a sugar, it's a sugar substitute, and I have the same reaction to a sugar substitute as I do with sugar. I don't have this reaction with stevia. I don't have this reaction with honey. But that's about it as far as sweeteners go that I know that I can handle. Things like fruit I'm fine with, but dried fruit, I can't handle it. I will binge on figs and prunes, and any dried fruit, I will just mindlessly eat it until it's gone. It's insane. But so, like I said, it's trial and error. You have to try. You have to figure out over time what your triggers are. And for some people, like I said, you could maybe eat those things in moderation in public when you're at an event or something like that. For me, complete abstinence gives me so much relief mentally, because I just come to terms with I can't have it anymore, and I put it out of my mind. Like, I can't have it, so I'm not going to think about it. It's not an option for me. And that's the only way I've been able to recover. That's the only way I've been able to manage the binges, is just to say I am not allowed to have these things because they are a drug. So I don't necessarily suggest that for everybody. It just really depends on you. So what are some things that have helped me in addition to abstinence from my trigger foods? So I found a book online last year called Vicious Eating, and you can download it online. It's a free PDF. So if you're interested in something like that and you can't find it, just shoot me an email or comment below this video and I can send you the PDF file. It's a really quick read, and it just made me realize that I had a problem, and that abstinence was the best option for me. So that's something that I did. Recognition and awareness, like with this B12, just recognizing when you have a problem, when you have an issue, recognizing it every day and just accepting it. Everybody has their own fucked up issues. Everyone has their own fucked up past. We all have the things that we're working on, struggling with, getting through. It may not look like that on Facebook sometimes, because Facebook is a highlight reel of everyone's life, which is like why I like to share authentically and share about my struggles, because let's face it, this is real life. Nobody is perfect. So just recognition and awareness about what your problem is, and accepting it, and not feeling bad about it, not feeling weird about it, and just moving on. Really, it's a lot about a mindset you have to learn to adopt with it, and not feeling sorry for yourself all the time and being depressed, and throwing yourself a pity party every day. And I used to, all the fucking time, all the time. I was so sad about my life and myself, and life was never going to get better. And then came the binges, and the cycle continues, right? So being aware of it and just recognizing that it's an issue really helped me. Sharing about it, and if you don't feel comfortable sharing on social media like I am right now, that you have binge eating disorder, there are closed and private and secret groups on Facebook with other people dealing with this as well, where you can go and get support. There's online support groups outside of Facebook where you can get support. There's Overeaters Anonymous. I actually went to Overeaters Anonymous about 10 years ago. And I didn't stick with it because I just felt really ashamed. I didn't feel like I fit in. I'm very introverted, and it was way too much pressure on me to sit there in a group setting and talk about it. So that didn't work for me. But if that's something that you could adopt and try, Overeaters Anonymous is in every town. It's much like AA and I think 10 steps or something like that. So that's something that you can look into, but it didn't work for me to do that. But sharing about it, so sharing it with somebody who understands. And like I said, it doesn't have to be publicly like this. Another thing that really helped me too is personal development. And I was one of those people that thought personal development is the kooky crock of bullshit, and weirdos read that stuff. It's for hippies or whatever. It's for therapists, you know. And I apologize. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I did realize that personal development is huge. It's awesome, and it can really, really help you. It can really help you develop confidence and self-esteem, and help you change your mindset about the future. It can help you have motivation. It can inspire you. Personal development is badass. I mean, I do it daily. Sometimes when I sort of get off track with doing my personal development and I don't stay consistent with it, I start to notice that I'm less motivated to do my workouts. I'm less motivated to follow my meal plan. I'm less motivated to work in general, or even to get out of bed, because I still struggle with that. Because I've figured out what works for me when it comes to binge eating, it doesn't mean I don't still struggle with it sometimes. Sometimes I still struggle with it. The other thing that really helped me too is meal planning. Now, meal planning can be really bad for people with eating disorders, usually eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia, because you get so obsessive about restricting food. But for people with overeating issues, meal planning can be a really good thing, because it takes away thinking about it all the time and being obsessive about it all the time, because you have a meal plan that you need to follow, you know what you're going to be eating later, and you just eat it instead of wondering and fantasizing about food and fulfilling cravings and things like that. Having a meal plan can really help with that. With that said, restriction is a bad idea for somebody with binge eating disorder, because overly restricting will set off binges. That doesn't mean that you can't cut back on calories with the goal of weight loss. I've been able to do that very successfully without dealing with binges, because I don't drastically reduce my calories and restrict my calories. The shitty thing about the diet industry, and I hate that word, because it just makes me feel angry and restricted without even, I hate that word. But the thing, and especially with women, and when it comes to binge eating disorder, it's like 50-50 men and women that suffer from it. It's not just women. But anyway, the diet industry has created this mindset in our heads, and in women specifically, that the only way to lose weight, the only way to achieve your goals is to restrict. Take away your favorite things, take away foods that actually taste good, eat like a rabbit, crying over rice cakes, and just being miserable and eating 1,000 calories or 1,200 calories. Or I've talked to some people who eat 600 or 800 calories. Oh my gosh, that's not how you do this long term. Yeah, you might get results for a couple of weeks restricting calories like that, but it causes long-term metabolic damage. It causes damage to your hormones, and you get to the point where you can't even lose weight because your hormones and your metabolism are so fucked up. It just doesn't know what to do, because you go into starvation mode, and then you go into binge mode, and then starvation mode, and then into binge mode, and everything's just screwed up with your body physiologically. It's just messed up. So in my fitness community, I do not promote severe restriction like that at all. I do not promote fad diets. What I do promote is working out 30 to 45 minutes a day, following a meal plan, eating the appropriate number of calories for your body size and for your activity level. Over time, as a result, you lose the weight, you reach your goals, and you do it without going through this yo-yo dieting bullshit that we all go through all the fucking time, and it just irritates me. Because some people just don't understand it. Some people talk to me about meal plans and their goals, and they think that they should be eating 1,000 calories a day, and that's just not the case, because eating 1,000 calories a day and working out 45 minutes a day is going to get you in the exact same spot you are right now, which is, I lost the weight, I gained it back, I gained some more, and now I'm trying to do it all over again. So when you're thinking about binge eating disorder or just losing weight in general, it needs to be with a healthy relationship with food. It needs to be with healthy lifestyle changes that you can continue for the rest of your life. If what you're doing right now, you could not continue for the rest of your life, it's a fad diet, you're restricting too much, and you need to try something else and find what works for you. So I hope that this video helped you. I hope that it had some sort of purpose other than me just rambling on for, I don't know, I guess this is a pretty long video now, but I hope that this helps. It was pretty intense and scary for me to do it. My heart's still beating fast. It was pretty nerve-wracking, but I'm hoping that by sharing this, I can help just one person come to terms with binge eating disorder, or one person can come to terms with, whatever you've dealt with in your past, in your childhood. I've had some pretty shitty things in my past, and I'm not going to say they happened to me, because it's just my past. It's my past made me who I am today. And as much as I would love to erase an abusive marriage from my past, as much as I would love to not have lost a child and had a miscarriage, it's my past. And it got me to where I am now. And where I am now is really healthy and really happy and confident and feeling like a fucking badass and feeling powerful and motivating and inspiring other people to reach their goals too. And so I'm thankful for that. You know, you really have to get out of the victim mindset, and it really all starts here. It all starts here. That's the first step, is taking an honest look at yourself and realizing what you can do to change your future, and realizing that you indeed do have the power to change your future. Whatever your life is like right now, whatever you're dealing with right now in this moment, it doesn't have to stay the same unless you let it. So anyway, I should probably stop this video because it's really long now. So if you need support, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need help with whatever you're struggling with, please don't hesitate to ever reach out to me. I really appreciate it when people do that. I'm happy to help people overcome their struggles and realize their worth and their power. You can comment below this video if you want to start that conversation with me or connect with me. You can email me, lindseyphippsfitness@gmail.com. You can message me on Facebook, message me on Instagram, wherever you found this. So I hope that this helps, and here's to being a badass and overcoming our past, right? Bye.